It's a pleasure to talk to you about this film. I kept thinking it's so interesting to transpose this story in modern age where social media is so much interfering in everyone's lives. What do you think makes that time so romantic?
Because I think there was a massive change on the way. It was James Dean was the forerunner of a generation that wanted to own their own time. You know? So there is I mean, when you look back on things, there's always an idea of romantic notion, I guess. But it was 10 years after the war, and maybe there was a new optimism, and there was a mix of cultures. And that famous photograph of James Dean on Times Square that Dennis Stock took, it symbolizes in a way the period, even more than just James Dean. It feels like a jazzy kind of photograph, you know, of New York and places where things happened. You know.
That must have been what was most interesting for you to explore, right? I mean, it's obviously based also on, you know, real characters, real events, but it's very nice to fictionalize it and make it a story.
Yeah, totally. You know, I mean, the given thing is the Dennis Stock as a photographer photographing James Dean, but it becomes a film about two males that bond, that create a friendship.
How much can you find out about the real events? What is written, what is documented, and what is fictionalized?
Yeah, you know, in our film it's a real mix. It's more dramatized, but the screenwriter talked to Rodney Stock, the son of Dennis, some of the widow or ex-wives of Dennis Stock, Marky, the cousin of James Dean, who owns the James Dean estate. So, and all letters, and he collected as much as he could. So I think he had, you know, quite a knowledge of real events, and then he made a story around that.
Are you able to grasp now what made James Dean such an iconic figure? Of course, you know, a premature death, but there was more to that.
Sure. I mean, I think if you're premature death, if you haven't delivered before your death, you know, you won't be remembered. I mean, that's how simple as that. I had a few instances also where I worked with people who passed away, and then the work I did with these people, they start to look different. People see more things into it than I ever saw into it. But he of course, he looked great. And like I said, he put something in motion, I guess, that changed the situation for younger people. You know, that period became their own. They didn't just become a generation that listened to the music of their parents. You know.
Yeah, no, that's true. Let's talk about casting and Dean and Robert, and why for you they were the perfect combination as both of them for the roles.
Well, they're very different kind of actors, and a lot of people assume immediately that Rob Pattinson will play James Dean, because it's the biggest name. But for me, the photographer was always the way into the film, because I was never set on making a James Dean film, you know. And Robert, you know, perversely for me, I thought it was quite interesting to put him behind the camera instead of in front of it. But also I felt that Robert, after Twilight, is struggling to prove himself as an actor. You know, he takes these really left-of-center roles, and here he plays a photographer who wants to prove he's a photographer. And I felt that was quite parallel universe to his own struggle. And I think Rob did great in the film. So I think he was a perfect choice. And then Dane for James Dean, you know, Dane is one of these real character actors who takes really interesting roles, has a very interesting look. Of course, he had to change quite a bit to become more similar to James Dean, but you're never going to get there. I mean, you can either take a model who looks like James Dean, or you take an actor who makes you believe he's James Dean. I think I like the latter more. And I think he did great. After a minute of him on screen, you just look at the person, James Dean.
And how much was the sense of location important to capturing the poetry of the photographer and the photographs?
Yeah, there was my initial instinct was, okay, I'm going to film this in black and white. And then, apart from the financial struggle to get that together, I also realized that that is a mistake. It's much more interesting to create a real world in color, and then get Dennis Stock show his ability to create his world out of that world. Because if everything looks like a Dennis Stock world, then it doesn't look like he contributes anything with these photographs. So I think that's how I set it up. So his pictures are therefore much more works of an artist than somebody who just snaps around him and it's there anyway.